Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Knessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the first day of March in the year 2024. And with me, as he is every Friday, is my dear friend Tony Mondaro. Tony, good afternoon, and thank you for being here as you are every week. What's going on, brother?
Hi, Kevin. A busy week weather-wise. We had a nice coastal storm in the middle of the week, which caused some pretty high winds overnight Wednesday into Thursday. About a half an inch to an inch of rain or some tree and wire damage. For those of you who are wondering what type of wind gust that we had overnight Wednesday into Thursday, here's some numbers for you. Bayonne, the Seaman station out there, which is a coastal weather station, gusted to 52 miles an hour at the Hudson County Emergency Management's Emergency Operations Center in South Kearney. They did 51. Lyndhurst at the middle school, that's a station that's by the Lyndhurst Police Department and the school system there, Board of Education. Their winds gusted to 45. And here in Harrison, locally, a little bit further down to the ground, we had a 42-mile-an-hour winds. And led us to a nice day the end of yesterday and
Yeah,
today, which are really going to be for pristine, not a cloud in the sky weather. Looks like this is the last day of that for a while, as the weekend looks wet. Now, if you have anything to do as far as you want to do it dry and not having to worry about the rain, the rest of today, tonight, and the overnight is your time. Saturday goes downhill quick. We're raining. Sunday's going to be an unsettled day. I think it's a mix of sun and clouds. It could be a shower in the morning. Temperatures not bad. No snows in sight. But the extended, we have a little surprise for you. What could be happening for that St. Patrick's Day parade, and we'll let the cat out of the bag there in a couple of minutes.
good.
It'd be white and not wet this year for that parade, and we're even not even dry. So we'll see what happens. But temperature-wise, Kevin, looks like we'll top out into mid to upper 40s today, and then we're in the 40s and 50s for the weekend, and perhaps touching 60 degrees. But next week, a lot of clouds around. There's a chance of a shower each day, more steadier rain from midweek on as we transition to our first day today of meteorological spring, which started today. So we're in meteorological spring now. Regular spring sort of starts in a couple of weeks. And and for the week, folks, if you're keeping track of this, the highest temperature this week was 61 degrees.
Wow.
Lowest was 28, which was this morning. And those of you, we said we could give some garden tips. And the soil temperature at 4 inches this morning, 4 inch soil temperature was 37 degrees. Now we want at least 55 for planting or reseeding grass. So we still have a ways to go there. And folks, we'll update that soil temperature for you as I measure each Friday here on the Observer Live weather report. Um, for those venturing out to, if you're going to be fishing today, this weekend, no headlines are up yet, but I think rainy and possibly small craft advisories may be issued, especially from down the shore where you go party fishing boat down there from Manasquan down to the Great Egg Inlet. So, going to be an unsettled week, I'm afraid. And looking further down the road, Kevin, looking at St. Patrick's Day parade on the 10th. Some of the models are hinting at a chance of snow in the extended with temperatures in the 30s for the parade. Good news is it's a long way away and there could be many changes, but something that we're going to need to watch out for.
Yeah, I know everybody's getting concerned. The 10th of March is the West Hudson Parade. I think Nutley's is this weekend, too, so they may actually get some wet weather, too, right? Basically, is what we're
Right.
looking at for Nutley. But the
Yeah, it
big
could be.
concern. Yeah. Go ahead, Tone. Sorry about that.
Yeah. It's going to be on. It's going to be unsettled either way you slice it.
Yeah. Once when we regroup next week, 1 week from today, we'll probably have a much clearer outlook into what the parade would be like. But people should be aware that it's
Yeah.
possible.
Absolutely, but it's something we're going to have to watch out for. And of course, we'll be updating on our Facebook page. And folks, if you haven't yet, you have to do this. Observer Live, subscribe, become a member by subscribing to the site, liking the videos. This really helps our algorithm and helps us, really prosper here at the at our little weather show here, and also Kevin's awesome program on Tuesdays at 1:30. I know I never miss.
Thank you, and I am I'm so fortunate to have you as a partner because we our chemistry I love it. You know, chemistry is not easy to you can't manufacture it. It's natural, and that's what I enjoy the most about ours. It's just a natural chemistry. We like each other, and we get along, and we know how to talk to each other. So how about that? Thank you. I appreciate it
Yeah,
very.
absolutely. And how do you like our Mets 3-2 in this young spring season?
It's not
You
bad.
know,
I watched a couple of games. The home games are all on SNY, so they've looked okay.
right.
I'm still just very bitter about the Devils though because they are not doing anything. They're not making any trades. They've had a rough stretch. They did win the other night out in San Jose, but I don't know. It looks like they're kind of letting off on this season too, Tony. So it's been rough. It really has. Thank God the Mets are
And
only in the early
and
stages.
Kev, you're the hockey guy, so you can probably explain this better than I. Why does it seem like toward the end of this year for the Devils, each year the wheels start to come off?
Well, it happened partly last year. Then they got hot in the playoffs, and then fizzled out in the second round. But this year, it's been just. I mean, from the very beginning, there were some experts who predicted them to not only make the Stanley Cup final, but to win the cup this year, which is always the kiss of death whenever prognosticators do that, but they have just not been able to get it together. Just when they start to look like they're getting hot, they go on a four game losing streak, and they've never won more than three in a row this season. And if they're
Hmm.
going to make the playoffs, they're going to have to win tonight, and they're going to have to win over the weekend out in California. Because by then, if they fall 5 or 7 points out of the playoffs, they might as well just kiss it goodbye. And I don't think they want to do that after the success of last year. I really wouldn't want to see that. So I don't understand it. Some of the younger guys too, they're used to playing 50 games a year. Now they're playing 82. So I'm sure that's got to have something to do with it, Tony. You know, the stamina just goes away after when you're not used to playing 82 games and you're playing 50 the year before.
I love our the people that are chiming in the background. Hey, Melanie, do you recall the year that we had snow on St. Patrick's Day? I remember the fire that they had to go around at one time on Rogers Boulevard. I remember playing at very chilly parades and rainy parades. I'm just wondering when the last time it snowed, on one of the parades.
Yeah, if
I was
anybody,
probably my head was probably deep into the weather maps. Do you remember that, Kev?
I do, and I can't remember for the life of me what year it was. And if anybody's going to remember, it's going to be Melanie. So I hope she's still here and listening, and will put it in the chat room for us because that one with the fire that was a crazy year. And then just 2 years ago, I remember it being so cold that I had to leave because my hands were felt like they were falling off at some point. So it's been hit or miss on the Sunday of the parade. Let's see. Melanie is in the chat room and she just posted this. I'm thinking, and I think smoke is coming out of my ears. so, but if she does remember, I'm sure she could just post it underneath this video here on the podcast, right? And we'll be able to get back to you on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like to know when that happened. I don't recall it. I'm not saying that Melanie is wrong. She probably is not. She probably has a better memory than I do right now, especially thinking about weekend and week ahead with this unsettled weather ahead.
Absolutely. Now she just said in the chat room it was the late '90s. Okay, that
All
might
right,
be.
very
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
that
thank you,
kind of
Melanie.
jives. Yeah, late '90s. Tony, I
Yeah,
remember a couple of St. Patrick's Day parades when it was in the '70s. I mean, I've always enjoyed those the most because at the time, two dear friends, Joe Reese and Sean McDonald, were doing the commentary on Comcast, and I remember them sitting out on the lawn in front of St. Cecilia's without jackets. So how about that? Why don't we get a day where couldn't we just use a 70-degree day right now for the parade? Not snow.
absolutely. I'm with you.
Um,
Because if it snows, I miss it. I have to, be at the weather center tracking that every inch. It's when it snows, even if it's flurries at the weather center, it's pretty busy. Even the other night,
yeah,
we had a scare we were really monitoring for the DPW. Was any chance of a flash freeze? But what happened was that rain ended early enough, and the winds kicked in. very strong winds, kind of just like a blow dryer, just dried us out
Yeah,
right away, which was good for the morning rush.
absolutely. Have you ever marched in the parade?
No, never have. But
No.
I do plenty of waving to everybody.
That's it,
And
right?
I think the parade is phenomenal. I usually stand on Rogers Boulevard and William Street right there. So when the parade's over, I just go down William and make my right onto Fifth down to Hamilton and back to the Weather Center. But I look forward to the parade. You know what I really miss? I
What's
really
that?
miss the Harrison Halloween parade that they used to have down Harrison Avenue as a kid. And it
Oh,
seemed, there's a parade just as big, if not bigger, to present day, and that's done in Tom's River, New Jersey.
really?
Every even right, correct. Tom's River has a huge Halloween parade. We were just about what Tom's River and Harrison had the two biggest parades, I believe, in the state when it came to Halloween.
Oh my goodness! Wow. I wonder why
Mm-hmm.
they stopped doing that. Did you have any idea why that is? Why they canceled it and stopped doing it? I would think that would still be hugely popular.
Absolutely, without a doubt. I know there was a lot of logistics involved, especially when it fell during the day of the week, where you had to stop traffic on Harrison Avenue and stuff like that. So I bet you, if you talk to the rec people over at Harrison or the powers that be over at Harrison, that might be one of the reasons why. Probably just the logistics. But I used to love that. That parade was, Kevin, it had to be an hour and a half long. At least
My
that's what it
God,
seemed like.
I
It
can't
was
even.
it was great.
That's tremendous. Maybe we should talk to Councilman Bennett and try to get him and Mayor Fife to resurrect something like that because I bet it would be very popular. The one in Kearney is too. People love to see kids dressed up in these costumes. So, I mean, man,
And
that
and, and I have to mention NA because if Dan's watching this, I'll be in trouble. They have a nice little Halloween parade that goes down Ridge Road, and after the Halloween parade, they have a trunk or treat behind Borough Hall.
those are the best. Whoever came up with that concept is a genius, because
Yeah,
the kids. Of course, you remember we're old enough to remember when at Halloween time they were putting like cyanide in candy and it was in the Tylenols and all that stuff. So
yeah.
it's safe when you're doing a trunk or treat. So not to be negative and bring up the cyanide poisonings, but that was an issue years ago in the 80s. So you're absolutely right. Great stuff, though. Really.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out too because he gave me a nice shout out on his video. Ron Henry from Tom's River Seaside Heights. He does a weekly Seaside Heights news update. He's on YouTube too. So if you go Ron Henry Seaside Heights, and if you ever want to know what's going on in the Jersey Shore, for those of us who like the Jersey Shore and visit down there, and also anywhere in that Lavalette, Point Pleasant, Tom's River area. Tom does Ron does that video every week there. So yeah, he just had a beautiful. What they had the polar bear plunge last
Oh
Saturday. Yeah,
yeah.
nice video on that. Yeah, with
Did
all
he
the
do? Did
thousands,
he do it?
thousands of people.
I can you either? I get nauseous just thinking about going into that frigidity. Have you ever done a polar bear plunge?
The closest I've become to a polar bear plunge is when I mistakenly hit the cold water in the shower
Good enough,
and run,
right?
yeah, and run through the curtain.
Yeah, yeah, that's good
That's
enough.
the
I
closest.
I don't know how they do it. I mean, I just think about it. Some like even if you step into the shower too soon and the hot water is not hot enough, but my God, that's painful. And imagine just putting your whole body in. Wow, wow.
Not only that, but how about running across the beach into the water, and
Right.
especially on some of these very cold days. Now it wasn't too bad this year. It was kind of mild by seaside standards, with temperatures in the 30s and 40s. I've seen them go through that beach with temperatures in the teens and 20s and jump into that water.
Oh God, just the thought of that. Just the thought of that. My goodness. So now, Tone, on the
Yeah,
way out here,
yeah.
bottom line, this weekend is going to be wet, and next weekend we'll regroup and we'll take a look at what the West Hudson St. Patrick's Day Parade will more than likely be like, correct?
Absolutely. And then we'll do, Kev, if it does look like we're gonna have any issue, I'll make sure we'll stay in contact for your Tuesday show so you can maybe give an update,
Good.
and then we'll go into Friday. So we'll let everyone informed. Remember, subscribe and like this video and also Kevin's video on Tuesday. You can head over to the Harrison Weather Center fake Facebook page for updates, regular updates. And Kevin, next week, I bet you can't wait for this. We'll have an update on the soil temperature.
Oh my goodness. That is when I get excited because we know the spring is coming and we know the summer is coming when the soil temperature is at discussion. And, Tony, just before we go, I just want to remind everybody that the website for Tony's Facebook page is listed right under his name under his video. So if you haven't checked it out yet, you can't become friends anymore because he's maxed out on 5,000 friends. Just to give you an idea how many people love the Harrison Weather Center, it's way beyond 5,000, but you can at least visit it and get all the updates. It's a public page, so you'll be able to see everything right over there, right?
Absolutely.
Now, before we go, I just want to say two things. I hope you'll join me with this. Today, my grandmother would have been 103 years old, and on Sunday, my mother's birthday is coming up. So I want to wish Mom, who is in the room with us today, a happy birthday. I love you, Mom, and I will see you over the weekend. So, Tony,
happy birthday. That's wonderful.
That's it, but Tony. Tony, thank you so much, my man. We'll see you next week, maybe on Tuesday, depending on how it goes, okay?
My pleasure.
All right, everybody, from the newsroom of the Observer and the Harrison Weather Center, Kevin Canessa and Tony Mondaro signing off for now. We'll see you back soon. Take care, everybody.